What was the legal basis for the Civil War draft? What was the legal basis for the Civil War draft? This question takes us into the heart of how the Union government managed its military needs during a time of crisis. The answer lies in the powers granted to Congress by the United States Constitution and the specific laws enacted during the Civil War. The Constitution, particularly Article I, Section 8, gives Congress the authority to raise and support armies. This provision was interpreted to include the ability to requiring military service from citizens, which we now refer to as conscription or the draft. Before the Civil War, some states had already established compulsory military service, so the idea was not entirely new. As the war progressed, the initial wave of volunteers began to dwindle. To address this decline, Congress passed the Militia Act of 1862. This act allowed the president to call up state militia forces for national service. However, this measure alone did not meet the Union's growing need for soldiers. In response, Congress enacted the Enrollment Act of 1863, also known as the Conscription Act. This law marked the establishment of the first national draft system in the United States. It required all able-bodied male citizens and immigrants who had started the process of becoming citizens to register for potential military service. The draft sparked considerable debate. Many argued it was essential for preserving the Union and ensuring the Army had enough personnel. Others viewed it as an overreach of federal authority, especially since wealthier individuals could pay for substitutes or buy their way out of service. This led to significant resistance, including violent protests like the New York City draft riots in July of 1863. From the perspective of Lincoln's war powers, the draft was a practical application of the constitutional authority to raise armies during a national emergency. The Supreme Court later upheld this reasoning in cases like the selective draft law cases during World War I, affirming Congress's broad authority to enact conscription laws under its war powers. In essence, the legal basis for the Civil War draft was rooted in the Constitution's grant of war powers to Congress, the specific laws enacted to implement those powers, and the pressing needs of the Union government during the conflict. The draft emerged as a direct response to the Union's urgent requirement for soldiers and the legal framework that enabled the federal government to compel military service.